Hello coders, good afternoon. It's a bit dark in here for some reason. Don't know why. Nah. Today we're going to be creating some Symfony commands, some Symfony console commands. In particular, we have a db rebuild script.sh, and what I want to do is condense all of that as a Symfony console command, because in the future I want to call that from other commands and stuff. So it's just easier if it's all in one. So I think I'm set up. You might have to bear with me as I go through bits and pieces. Let's get into the code view. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, so just a simple ticket here. Create a Symfony command that replaces the db rebuild.sh. Let's add that as an epic here to our. I'm going to put it on the pipeline improvements. Because this is a child issue of a wider thing, which is pipelines. Because now that we are in a position where we have various different environments, or we will be very soon, I want to have this command ran when we run some tests. So, okay, let's take a couple of steps back, get this out of my head. So what I want to do, the overarching goal for this is I would like to have Cypress end-to-end tests that hit the box, either pre-prod or staging or just dev, and I want a command that Node fires or Cypress fires before each of the tests to rebuild database. At the moment, we have a manual script, which is db rebuild.sh, which runs through a collection of things. And I want to wrap that up into an actual console command, which then I can hit from, say, a specific URL that is tied to a specific environment. So that's kind of like the grand scheme, if you will. So what we'll do is we'll take a look. I've just started this up. So that's all the PDO stuff that we were doing last time. That was all fun and games. What should we do? Where should we start? I guess we should have a look at the actual rebuild script itself. Now that lives in bin, and it's just db rebuild.sh, and it's just a sequence of things. We drop the database, we create the database, we migrate the database, we load the fixtures, and then we import the course notes. In fact, this is what's ran. I believe. Yeah, actually thinking about that, this script runs when we rebuild. Hang on, bear with me a second whilst I work out where everything is. Bear with me. In dev, in web server, in the scripts, there's an entry point, and I believe it runs here. Yes. So what I would like is to replace this as well. So okay, there's a couple of things I need to do. First of all, I need to document all of this stuff before we do that. So this create a Symfony command that replaces the db rebuild.sh. What we want to do is first of all give a path to where it lives, right? That would be good. So let's do a copy path reference, and we'll do from the content root. Okay, so the current script lives in. So I'm going to do a little bit of just documentation right now before we actually get into the weeds of it all. I think if I can. Oh yeah, I'm on a different keyboard. Of course it is. It's a different command than a Mac. Fine. Okay, so the current script lives in there. Okay, this okay, lives in there. Okay, this script needs to be replaced by a single Symfony console command. So I'll put in just a sort of a to-do. I'm not going to create separate tickets for each thing because I'm just going to create a. Well, let's do outcomes. Outcomes here. That's probably wise, isn't it? Outcomes. Okay, so the first outcome would be to have a single console command that runs all the commands in DB rebuild. Okay, we need to adjust the Docker entry file, entry point. Entry, is it entry? What did I call it? Entry point, Docker entry point. So yeah, we need to adjust the Docker entry point .sh to use the new console command. Now that is also in dev, it's also in test, and it will be eventually in pre-prod and production. But at the minute, we just have these two at the minute. So that's good. And then what I would like to do, I suppose that's really all I need to do at the minute. So have a single console command that runs all the commands in DB rebuild. Adjust the Docker entry point to use the new console command. Would I like it as a composer command? Because I'm just going to call this like rebuild, and it'll just run the whole sequence of events. Should I do it as an actual composer command? So what I'm thinking is, like, we have our composer file in here, and we have a series of down scripts. So I'm thinking maybe we need to have a script that runs this, like yeah, maybe we got test DB. Maybe we'll leave it for now. I don't think I need it right away, so we'll add that if we need to. So what we've got here, okay, so we want to create a Symfony command that replaces the db rebuild.sh. Okay, so the current script lives in website bin db rebuild.sh. This script needs to be replaced by a single Symfony console command. And I want to also put some checks in place. So this command must only be ran in dev and test environments. So I'm going to do, because at the moment, you see, there isn't any checks for it. It's just an sh file, and it's fine. You know, it's out of the public directory, but still, it would be nice to have something in code to check these things. So in the outcomes, I will put that. So have a single console command that runs all the commands in DB rebuild. Adjust the Docker entry point to use the new command. Command in the following for the following environments. Yeah, for the following. Sorry, I know I'm doing a lot of writing at the minute. Following environments, but I just want to get this sort of you know, crystallized environments. This is what I usually do on this is what I usually do on, like, you know, a weekend, having a cup of coffee at 11 o'clock or something, you know, just thinking about tickets for the rest of the for the future stream. So this would have normally been done. So have a thing. Okay, adjust the blah, blah, blah. Okay, so add checks to console command to ensure that only dev and test envs can run the script. Okay, fine. That's enough typing for a minute. Let's get on. Can you ask a question? Of course you can. Of course you can. Yeah, fire away. Please do. Please fire away. Calcan. Yeah, please ask. Story points. I reckon this is going to probably be. Will I finish it tonight within the hour? Probably not. So I'm going to probably put this down as 3. It's not overly tricky. Environments, I'm going to say it needs to be ran in local and staging, local being dev. I don't have these yet, so I can't really put them down. I'm going to have to put some wash-up scripts or some tickets to do all this in those environments, but because I don't have them, I can't test that. That's the thing. Okay, so I think we're good to go with that, to be fair. You know, I can put on all of this ridiculousness, so it's like, you know, who cares kind of stuff. And then so I haven't got a sprint running at the minute, and I don't want to run a sprint at the minute, which sounds daft to me, but I want to wait for next week because there's still some tickets that I want to add, and I've scheduled that for this weekend in the backlog regarding the pre-production deployment stage. So I'm gonna just hold off, and I'll put this at the top of the sprint thing. It's just the way that things have worked with the schedule of the stream. Right. Okay, so that's all good. Let's get on and actually start building this damn thing, shall we? So what I want to do is get into I want to get into the commands. That's what I want to do. So we go into website, we go into src, and it's in command. And I essentially want to create a command to call commands. That's essentially what I want, what I want to do here. So it's a command to call commands. And the command, I guess, I need to do is something like, I mean, let's just copy this for a second and paste it in. Naming things is very difficult, so I think we'll call it rebuild database. Whether it's going to be, I mean, we could do, yeah, let's do rebuild database, because that's what it does, rebuild database command. Rebuild database command, and we'll call this app. This is where it gets confusing. We'll call this, I was going to say app database rebuild, but I guess it should be I guess it should be app database rebuild. This is where it gets a bit confusing because you've called it backwards from the, but that reads better because there'll be other database commands, and then maybe I should change that to be, yeah, sod it. Let's change that to be database rebuild. See, naming things is very difficult in programming. Database rebuild. Okay. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so database rebuild. That's the command that we want to run. We're going to get rid of all of this ridiculousness because I don't need any of that stuff. Don't need any of that stuff. Don't need any of this. This does what it says on the tin, so this will rebuild the database. Okay. And this is the execute thing, so that's a cache update. I don't need any of that stuff. The success would be something like the database has been rebuilt. Go and get yourself a coffee or a beer. Well done. Right. Okay, so let's see if we can get, okay, that's good. So let's see if we can get this just to do something, right? So if we get into here, so this is just bin console. So if I was to run that again, we should see our new command in app. We should. Where is it? Where's it gone? What have I called it? App database rebuild. App. There's no database. What have I done? What have I done? Do I need to add this to something? Database rebuild command. That's a bit strange. I don't think I need to do anything with the cache. Do I not? App. Okay. Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything cache related that I need to do. Database rebuild command. Database rebuild command. That's all there. App database. There's this thing going on. What's this about? Namespace doesn't match the PSR0, PSR4 project structure. Dun dun dun. That should be fine because I've got a feeling that's the same for all things. So that should be okay. Why? Let's just run it and see what happens. So let's do app database rebuild. Oh, can't spell it. That's not going to work, is it? Still waiting on that question, buddy. Database rebuild. Okay, so that can't be found. Oh, idiot. Bin console. Nope, can't find it. And if we just ran this from app, that's what we get. So maybe there is something in the cache that I need to deal with. Console cache clear, perhaps. It's been a while since I've done this, so bear with me. Because essentially this command is then going to call the other commands in a specific order. Wow, all of that took a bit of time, didn't it? Let's have a look. Yeah, well, it was a caching thing. Always a caching thing. How can I make a type switcher with object-oriented PHP MySQL? How can I make a type switcher? How do you mean a type switcher? Give me a little bit more context. What do you mean a type switcher? Do you mean, well, what types do you want to switch? Yeah, give me some sort of guidance as to what you mean, and I might be able to help you out. Type switcher. Do you know? Right, so let's do a database rebuild. This should just say, well done, success, rebuild. There we go, database has been rebuilt. Obviously it's lying to me because I haven't done anything. But we need to fill this out. Now I'm gonna cheat and go over to Google, and I need to find out how to do this because I haven't done this in a while. So let's do Symfony command call another command. There we go. How to call other commands in Symfony. Yes, I thought there was a thing here. Now I need to go to 5.3 unfortunately because that's where I'm at. There we go. We pass in some arguments and we got that, and we run command run and all of that jazz. Okay, that's cool. Essentially that's it. Is that it? Okay, fine. Right, so we do return code command. Command is what? Get application. Oh, we find the command like this. Oh, I see. Right. Okay, so a little bit of architecture there, in the sense that because I'm going to be running multiple commands, maybe there needs to be, and luckily none of these commands have any, oh no, they do have arguments. They do have arguments. Okay. So the way I'm thinking right now is we would have like a list of commands, right? Which is, sorry, I'm talking in Python speak, an array of commands that have something like the command, right? And then have so that will be the key, because that will be unique, and then the arguments, so like force for instance. Don't worry about it, Calcon, that's all right, we all started once. Yeah, let me know what you mean by types. Do you mean like data types? Do you mean like type, say like Boolean or what have you? A form should be dynamically changed when the type is switched. Oh, right. Okay. A form. Right, so you've got a form that needs to be changed when something is switched. I see. So depending on what that is, like what that switch is, it could be a select box, it could be a checkbox, some user interaction that causes something to happen. What I would do, is have it in a PHP form, and have that as a have the input as a sort of, you would have a, let's say it was a checkbox. So let's just play. So you would have an input, right? And the input, you would have an input, and the input would have a name, and the name would be, I don't know, switcher, I guess. And even better, that would be, say, a checkbox. I don't know. It could be whatever it is, you know, whatever it is. In fact, that would be an input type. This is trying to do HTML and PHP. Input type checkbox, something like that. And then you would have name switcher, and then you would have like value is equal to, I don't know, a or something. I don't know, whatever it is. And then you would in the form, so you would have like form, and then you would have action. Well, you would have method. Method would be a post. You would have an action, which would be, say, well, it would just go to some form of thing. So it would be, say, I don't know, controller.php or something. So that you would break off there, and then you would go into here, and then you would close the form. This is all pseudo code, of course. And then sort of in your controller, like this, controller, controller.php in here. So this would be your switcher dot HTML, no, PHP, because it needs to be PHP, because that's going to a PHP. Yes. Well, it doesn't need to be. I mean, as long as it's going to, yeah, sort it. Okay, let's do HTML. It's going to a PHP file. All right. So the important thing is that it's going to a PHP file, and we're giving a name of, I've called everything switcher, which is really bad of me, but whatever. And you've got the value of a. So when you get to here, when the form is submitted, you can do things like post, sorry, and then you would grab the posted value. So you would do switcher, and then you would have so that would be your that would be your value. It comes from here, and then you would do something like if value equals a or something, do something in the DB, else do something else. I don't know. Like, obviously I don't know what the context is, but that's how you would sort of grab. So let's do something else in the DB. So yeah, the important thing is that the action goes off to a PHP file, and that comes back with posted variables that you can pick up. So you would grab that and assign it to something, and then you would check. You would check that. I mean, maybe that isn't a checkbox. Maybe that is a select box. So maybe that is a something like select. Oops. So select, and then you would have the name. Say, let's do something a little bit more. Let's do something a little bit more. So countries, for example, right? And then in here you would have a series of, let's close that up. You would have a series of options, and each option would have a value, right? So you would have option, and you would have value is equal to whatever. So this would be like UK, and that would be like United Kingdom, right? Kingdom. And then you would close that up. So close the option up. I hope this makes sense. And then you would have another bunch of options here, right? So you would have another country, and then this would be the name would be countries, and then you would say if the country is UK, then do something else. Else do something else. Yeah. Does that make sense? So a form should be dynamically changed when the type is switched. So it's a select. Yeah. Thank you. I did that. The switch part is a select. Right. Yeah. So it's this bit. Now, this is working on the fact that there is only one option. Okay. So if it's a multiple choice, then it could be, so with select boxes, you can have multiple options that are chosen. If that's the case, then that comes back as an array, right? So you would have an array of countries that have been selected. And then what I would do for that is I would convert this into a switch statement rather than an if statement. So is that what you're saying, that you want that to be switched? Meh. I don't know. I hope that helps. I will leave that on the page just so you can see it. I don't know if it worked. He says after he's deleted it. I don't know if this helps or not. I don't know. But let me just comment all this out just so I can. There we go. All right. So here we have a series of commands and their options, right? So you would have command 1, and then you would have command 2, and that would be the order in which they come in. So what I'm thinking is we would have a for each loop in here. So we would have for each commands as command, right? And this you would have because it's an associative array, you would have for each commands as command. That would be the key. And then that would be the arguments. And then whatever the thing is on the here, we would run that, or we would find it first. So we would find the thing. So this find. Oops. Sorry. This is doing things too fast. So you'd find it. So that would be your command to run is that. And then you would then do this stuff, right? So you would have greet input. Greet is arguments, passing in arguments. Right. Okay. So maybe what we need to do. Yeah. Okay. So it's not going to be that simple. What we need to do is a nested array then. Okay. Fine. And for the ones that don't have it, we need to do null or something, or just a blank string that's empty or something, or just an empty array. There we go. Yeah, because that would be false, and then that would be true. Okay. So you've got the commands, which is this, and then you've got your arguments, which is an array. So what we could do is say if isn't empty arguments. So if it isn't an empty argument, then we would say we would do this, I guess. So that would be in here, and that would be Greek. That would be command to run. Hang on a minute. Equals command to run. Command to run is wait. Command to run. Okay, right. I need to do this. I need to do this first. There we go. Command to run is equal to u. Okay, that's done. And then you've got arguments, which is there. So let's change that to be command arguments is that. In fact, we might be able to just give a blank array, to be fair. So we might be able to get away with just not checking whether it's empty. We might be able to just do command arguments is arguments, right? Because it's going to be an empty array. And that's just an array input, right? So we might be able to deal with that. And then what we need to do is then actually do the thing. So we would do a return code. We would do command to run. There we go. Command to run. We would pass in. Hang on a minute. What's that? Oh yeah, that's the input. So command arguments is that, and then there we go. And then I suppose we would have some form of check. So if return code is something or other, then something happens. What can it do? It's an integer. It's an integer, so it returns the command exit code. Returns the command exit code. The code is executed. So if it's, I guess if it's a 0, then we throw an exception, right? Or if it's a what? If it's not a 0, I mean. Yeah. So return if is numeric or the status code, then we return 0. So we might be able to say if it's greater than 0, then throw new exception. I'm just making all of this up. I am really just making all of this up. So something has gone bang. Bang. Do. That wasn't very nice. I am going to ban you. Bye bye. Okay. Right. Da, 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 da. Okay, so command to run, application find, commands argument, return the code. Something has gone bang. Right. So I think what I need to do then is to have a look and see what commands I do need to run. So this would be drop. It would be force, which would be true, and then the next one would be create. It doesn't have anything, so that's cool. Next one would be migrate. And that's got interaction, no interaction. Now I might want to override these at some point. True. Like I might want to put in some sort of overall overarching argument that changes all of these stuff, but we'll get there in a minute. We'll get there. We'll get there. So let's grab that. Yep, that's got interaction as as true as well. And then we have the course notes. Right, I don't know if this is going to work. I have no idea, but we'll see. We will see. Yeah, we'll see. And I think what I will do is we'll put in some output. We'll say, because we got the output here. We'll do output and then we'll do write. Can we do write line? Maybe write line, and then we'll have running command and then pass in the command that we want to run. And then we do another one underneath. Well, we'll do one here. And we'll do completed command, blah, blah, blah. And then down here, we have our success. Right. Okay, let's see if that does. Oh, that needs to be a blank array. Let's see if this works, right? Or does something. I have no idea. Let's give it a go. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, boom. Yes, it is. It's doing all the things. Right, so now we have this where we have, are you sure you wish to continue? So whatever it is, I will need to, this is migrate. So let's do a no. Right, yeah, cool. That needs to be forced. So migrations migrate. What do we do then? It's this. No interaction is true. So maybe it didn't. So it's dropped the database, right? Then it's running database create, which is done. And then when it gets to running this, it's now asking for stuff, which shouldn't be happening because we've got no interaction. No interaction. No interaction. Yeah, it's spelt right. Let me just see if we, I might have to put in a force maybe, I don't know. Let me just see what is on the help. So console migrate Hey, how's it going? You having a good week? Right. Sorry if I'm going to butcher your name. That's Azebek. Thank you for joining. So we ran this. Do not ask for any interaction. So that's done exactly the opposite. So perhaps that isn't correct. We've got, the weird thing is that force true worked fine, because usually when you run this, it says, are you really sure you want to do that? So I'm not sure why that didn't work. No interaction. There's a dry run. There is allow no migration. Don't know why you would. Do not throw an exception if no migration is available. Oh, okay. All right. Then we got version here. Dry run. Yeah, I mean it's that. That's exactly what I've just done. No interaction. That is so strange, man. That is so weird. Let's do the old let's run it again thing. You're about to execute a migration in the database. That could result in schema changes and data loss. Are you sure you wish to continue? Running this with no interaction shouldn't do that. So if I was to run, let's just come out of this. So if I was to run this separately, right? So if I was to run that command with no interaction, it should just do the thing. Yeah, it's doing the thing. So, yeah, it's done. So why is that not doing the thing? Okay, let's have a little look at the here. Let's see if there's any clues. So we've got the name is Fabian. Yell is equal to true. -- yell. If you want to suppress the output of an executed command, pass null output as a second argument to command run. Note that all commands will run in the same process, and some of Symfony's built-in commands may not work well for this. For instance, the cache clear and cache warm-up commands change some class definitions, so running something after them is likely to break. Okay, most of the times calling a command from code that is not executed on the command line is not a good idea. The main reason is that the command's output is optimized for console and not passed to the other commands. That's a fair point. That's a fair point. But I still don't understand why this is not running. I mean, let's just take that out for a second, because we've got another one here, which is the loader of fixtures. So let's just run that. So let's do that. Unless there is something. See, now we're doing running command load. Oh yes. So we've dropped the database. Right. Yeah. So it's the interaction that's failing. It's the interaction that's failing. Again, I would imagine that has. I feel like this should be pretty obvious to me, to be honest. Let's do help. So that's all good. There we go. That's the no interaction again. Do not ask for any interaction. I mean, we could try the -n, right? So we could try that, perhaps. Or maybe it's looking for an actual string, yes or no. So maybe it's a case of passing in the string. So maybe it's a case of saying yes. Although that's a question, isn't it? That's the question. So maybe that isn't it. Doctrine migrate, we pass in da 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 and then migrate. There's no force, there's no switch off debug mode, increase verbosity mode, all or nothing. I don't think this is going to work. Let's just give it a go. No. Okay, this is very peculiar because on here they're all. I'm gonna just Google it. Why not? Why not? So run. What was it? Doctrine migrations from another command. How can I run two migration command without? Here we go. Configuration, no interaction. How can I run a Doctrine 2 migration command without interaction? Haha, that's exactly what I'm doing. Currently I have the following command which runs a setup of unit tests, but it always prompts for a yes and no on the user input, even when I use the no interaction option. Aha! Yes, I know that feeling. Okay, I just stumbled on your post as I was having the same problem. Doctrine migrations seem to be updated meanwhile, I guess. Hence, no interaction. Oh, you do the no interaction on the console. Really? I mean, that should be bin, so this is probably an old version of Symfony, right? I don't like Tom's approach, and there is another way to get this done. So you do migrate, set interactive to false. Okay. Okay, maybe I can do that on the input. The input would be what? The input would be of the array input. The array input would be in here, right? So you would have something like command arguments, and then that would be set interactive, and you would have that as false, which should be fine for all of them, to be honest, because none of them should stop. Let's give that a go. Let's give that a whirl. I probably don't need to do, I'll uncomment that. I probably don't need to set these now as no interactions, but let's just run it and see. So let's get rid of you and then run that again. Yay! It looks like it's doing it. This is awesome. Nice. Cool. Yes, thank you for letting me know, Nmin3. Thank you very much. Yes, we got to the same conclusion. I probably got to it much slower than you did. But that's cool. That's awesome. I like it. We probably can get rid of this then. So give that an empty array, I reckon, to be honest. Let's give that a go. Yeah, looks like it's doing the thing. Looks like it's doing the thing. Nice. I wonder why. Like I wonder why. And it's great that we have tools like Stack Overflow that document this. Nice. Okay. So that's cool. Right, what else do I want to do? I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to get rid of this. I hope you don't mind, but I just want to tidy up the file. So this output, that's going through the sub module for Git, and whether there's markdown files or not, it will fail if there's no transcripts and stuff. So that's fine. Or it will softly fail. Yeah, so there's loads there. Completed. And then the database has been rebuilt. I think I'm pretty happy with that, I think. Yeah. Don't think there's anything else I need to do. Let's have a look. Okay, so the current script lives in website bin db blah blah blah. This script needs to be replaced with a single console command. This command must be ran in dev and test environment. Okay, so yeah, I do need to do the check. There we go. Have a single console command that runs all commands in the db rebuild. That's done. Adjust the Docker entry point. Okay, so I need to do that. I need to adjust the Docker entry point. Okay, and I need to add a check. So let's add the check first then. So because I can run these things in different environments, right? So I can pass in, if I was to do, get rid of that help here, I can run it in a .env or dash I meant env. So the environment that you're running, by default it would run in dev. But what I would like to do is have a check to say, you're running it in the wrong environment. First of all, can I run it in production? That would be a good check. So what I need to do, just seeing notifications, env is equal to, let's say, prod. And we wait. And we wait. So this cannot happen, obviously. And as you can clearly see, I have blown things apart. So let's put it back to that. So I need some form of like warning that this can't happen. So we'll have a check. We'll say how do you get it? It'd be input, right? Input. Get, I think it's an get argument, and it would be env, I believe, or just e. That might be it. So you would have environment. So let's just do let's just comment all this out for a second. And then do an output right line, and we'll just put in whatever the environment is that it's running. I think that's it. Otherwise, I'll have to have a look into the Googleness. Let's give that a go. That should just print out the argument does not exist. Is it then dash dash? Might be that. No, it isn't. Let me have a little look and see. There must be a way. So Symfony console command. I have done this before, but I can't remember. Get env. How to check the environment variable of Symfony console command. Get environment. About. No, that's not what I'm after. Kernel.environment. Get env app env bin console. Env is dev, sure. Environment. When you can't get the container injected in that way, a last resort is getting the globals. Yeah, no. Will commands, I think. Specify commands, specific environment using the option. So to debug routing in dev, and it will show routes. You can also add a test to Twig. Okay, that's in Twig. I want console command. So Symfony console get env. It's either an argument or an option. It might be an option. Last name. So they are arguments, names. Okay. So is it an option then? Iterations. I think it's an option rather than an argument. I always get this confused. Let's try an option then. Get option. Because isn't that going to just default? No. You could get it from the kernel. I know, but does that change when I specify the env that I want to run it in? Will I do a Wireshark data packet video one day? It's not really my cup of tea, to be honest. Not really my bag. Doing Wireshark stuff and networky type stuff. It's not really my go-to. Someone I would recommend though is Network Chuck. It does. Thank you very much. Thank you for letting me know. I'll check that out. Yeah, Network Chuck. Is it Chuck Network Chuck? I think that's his channel. He does lots of stuff around networking. Obviously, clues in the name. Pretty good stuff. Right. So you're saying get it from the kernel, right? Get it from the kernel. So it would be something. I kind of feel like I could get it from the arguments, but okay. Interesting. env is prod, output is prod. Okay, do I need to pass this in as the app? env, is that what I need to do? No, that just seems awkward. Why would I need to pass this in and create it as a service and all that jazz just to get the env stuff? I mean, we could try it, right? Let's just see. So you're dumping get env app env starting upload. So that is okay. Then you put in env prod. So that's prod. So starting upload app env. So when you don't put anything in, it's false. When you do put something in, it's prod. When you change that to dev, that's dev. Okay, fine. And then when you change that to dev, I don't see where I'm. So this is because it's not reading from the env file, I think. Okay, I think your best bet would be to go ahead and inject the env variables. Try to access them directly can be tricky. So this is where we're creating a service, and then we get passing in the. This just doesn't seem right. Like, surely there is a way around this. Surely the command must have access to the environment that the command is ran in without having to go through all the craziness of setting things up in the services. There must be something in here there must be something in here that has something to do with the environment, and there must be some way of pulling it out. There must be. Checks whether the command is enabled or not for the current environment. So is enabled, returns true. Okay. Executes the command. That is the only place. That's weird. That's the only place that is running in. It doesn't extend anywhere. There's no traits that's being used. So maybe I do need to do that then. Just seems a bit weird, you know? Just seems a bit bizarre, but maybe I do. Yeah, what I'll do, Martin, if you're part of the Discord server, I'll post a link to his channel in the general chat channel. I'll do that after the stream. It just feels weird that I have to pass in. I have to inject that. It feels dirty. Surely there's a way to do this. You need an entry in the config services. Okay. Take a break, then come back and review. Yeah. That is awesome. That's. I think for every like 5 comments in Stack Overflow post, or 5 different answers, this should be an automated message. Take a break, then come back, review your code. Right. What's the next thing? Symfony 5. In Symfony 5, I was able to retrieve the .env parameters directly in the commands with the global env.app. Let's just give that a blast, all right? Because, I mean, this is bringing it way back to basics and not using the opinionated Symfony stuff. Let's just see what this does. So env is equal to u, or we'll just call it environment, and we'll comment that out. And we'll first of all we'll run it with nothing. So like that. Now, does that goes to dev? It does. Interesting. Right. So now if I was to do this with, say, env of say prod, right? Does that go to prod? It does. Okay, so maybe maybe this is what I need. Maybe this is what I need. So go to test. There we go. That should be test now. He says, come on. So maybe that's all I need. Yeah, test. So, okay. So enough screwing around. That is what I need. So what we can do is have some form of condition in here to say if env, well, let's have allowed. So let's do allowed. Let's do a bit of defensive stuff. So environments, allowed environments is going to be dev. It's going to be test. They're the only 2. So then we could do if env should be if isn't in array, and I've totally forgotten. I've been working on I've just totally forgotten. It's the needle and then the haystack. So if the needle, which is the environment, and then the haystack, which is what we want here, which is the allowed environment. So if it's not in there, then we need to throw a wobbly. So maybe we need to throw an exception. I don't know. Let's try it. Throw new exception. say you cannot run this in you cannot run this command in this environment in the current environment. There we go. Right, let's give that a go. So that should pass. So we will get rid of you. We'll do the ones that fail. So env is equal to prod, right? So that should fail. Yes, you cannot run this command in the current environment. Error thrown. Yeah, that's fine. That's cool. But doing it in, say, test should be okay. Well, that's not going to work. Clearly, that's not going to work because I don't have an environment called that. So, good. I need to set this keyboard up so I can actually hold down the button and then I can just or jump to. I haven't set any keyboard shortcuts up on this yet, or the ones I have don't do the thing that I want them to do because this keyboard needs to be replaced. Anyway, so yeah, that's good. So that's ran. That's cool. So we can now continue this. Boom. Yeah, so I'll do this in dev, or yeah, I'll do this in dev. And it should do all the things as it's done before. That's all good. Sweet, sweet, sweet. 73 course notes. Wow. Okay. I think there's like over 150 I need to actually eventually type up. That'll be fun. One of those rainy day things, I think. So yeah, there we go. That's all those things done. And if we go back to the ticket, which is here, we could have, so that's done. This is done. No, this is done. Sorry. So now we just need to adjust the entry point to run this. So let's just get rid of that for a second. So I've just realized that I haven't done this in a branch. So let's git checkout -b. One of the first things I should have done. Port. What is the branch number? It is 144. So port 144, and this. So this is. Let's just call this db rebuild script. And we're also going to have another outcome as well in here that delete the old db rebuild script. There's another place that this is being used, and this is in Cypress. Yes. Ugh. Yeah, there's another place. I just realized in our Cypress tests in here and now this is going to get tricky. This is going to get really tricky. Is it in commands? No, it's not in commands. Is it in index? It is in index. Oh, actually, no, it doesn't. It does something else. That's fine. Okay, I thought it was going to do... Oh, no, because it's reading it from a dump file. That's fine. No, that's good. That will eventually change, obviously. Okay, no, that's fine. I'll have to... Yeah, I'll have to put up a ticket for that at some point. Right, what was I doing? I was doing something. What was sort of mildly important. Yeah, no, I've done that. Oh yeah, Docker entry points. That's what I need to do. I need to adjust those. So the Docker entry points then, these would live in infra, dev, and scripts, and Docker entry point. So what I need to do is run an actual bin console and then run that command. So we need to do bin console, and then we actually have to run whatever the command is, not that. Not that. Oh, I was doing it through here, was I not? No, I wasn't. So that's the entry point. That here is the entry point. So it says HTCW website booted. That is essentially the DB script doing its thing. But I want to do it in one single script. Right. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. It's not. Of course, I was doing it in the container. That's why. So it's this. Obviously it is. And it is that. So we need to replace that there, and we also need to replace it in test, I believe. No, we just need to do the migrations on test. Right, I am going to... No, I will replace it. There we go. So running... so let's do rebuilding database. Okay, cool. So I suppose I can check dev now, and then I'll check test later on. So what we'll do is we'll come out of this. We'll come out of the container. We'll drop the container, and then we'll spin it back up again. And that should take on the entry point, and we should be able to see it do the thing. So if we ran docker compose -up -d, it should build all the things. And then what we can do is log. Yeah, well, let's do that now. We can thank you. We can do a docker ps-a just to watch them go up, and we can do docker logs. And yeah, so this is the entry point that's happening right now in dev mode. So it's running composer install, and that is up here. So it's running that. So the next one will be our script that we've just created. I've just thought of another place that the rebuild script is used. And that is in our make command. Which is in, this is our make file, right? Which is at the root level. And we have db, or maybe it's not. We've got db migrate, db there we go, test load. So we need to change this. I'll put this down as an outcome as well. This is in test load. Right, so it's still doing its thing on the entry point. That's fine. We'll let it complete its stuff. Okay, so adjust the make command to use the new Symfony console command. Okay. Right, there we go. So it's done all the things, because that's all the things. And it should actually have another output. No, it doesn't, because it's been set to not have the interactive. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, that's running as expected. Good stuff. Actually, no, thinking about that requires a Docker image to be built. Yes, because if you change the entry point is added to the Docker image. All I've done is just delete the container and then rebuild the container. What I need to do is rebuild the image. Yeah. All right. Sorry. So we're going to have to do all that again. So if we did Docker compose down, and if we did the up, I could have just taken that one container down. I don't know why I have to take the whole thing down. I don't have to take the whole thing down. I'm just being an idiot. Right. So we need to do Docker compose -f, and then we need to do build of whatever that's called, and I think it's called website. So let's have a look at, let's just have a quick look. Or is it web server, or is it called app? No, it's called app. Okay, so, and we put in no cache. Right, so there we go. It's now doing the build. This might take a bit of time. Right, whilst that's kicking off, what else can we do? So we've adjusted that. We need to adjust this as well. So the make file. So this here, we need to do that, and we must make sure that that can happen. So that command there. There is no other reference to that in here, is there not? Let's have a little look. So let's copy that and just find. No. All right. So let's just shift that back. All right. Cool. Right. So unfortunately, this might take a bit of time. There we go. So you can see that it's copying the entry point in. So that's why I needed to rebuild the Docker image, because the Docker image had the old entry point in. So when I just did a Docker compose down and then straight back up again, it's just going to use the same entry point that was in the existing image. That's why I have to do a rebuild to build it in. Come on. I have noticed on this machine, things start getting, yeah, it's getting really warm. I think what I need to do is attack this. It's a Mac Mini. I need to. It's an old Mac Mini. I need to attack it with either a Hoover or something, or like a vacuum cleaner. So I think there's some dust at the back of the fans, because I can't just put my fingers at the back of it. I can't feel the airflow as easy as I used to. So I'm wondering if there's any dust or something in there that's preventing the fans from rotating as fast as possible. Right, so that's done. There's no containers running, right, at the minute. So we can do Docker compose, and then we do up-d to bring everything up like this. And then I guess in this thing, we'll do. Let's just make sure that they are running. Yes, we can now do a log of the things. If I can remember, there we go. So there we go. It's now doing the install, and then it's doing what I need to do. It's on my radar. It's one of these things that I have to do at some point when the containers go through this process. I need to have some form of screen which is sort of down for maintenance, and then removes itself when this is running. Because if I was to hit the site now, I would just get I think it's a 503, where the gateway, the Nginx gateway, is just like, these containers aren't actually running yet, or they are running, but they're not actually responding through port 80 yet. So I'm going to need some form of step to put a maintenance page up first, because this can take this takes a couple of minutes. On staging, it's really quick, but I'm just here we go. So there we go. We can see the actual outputs. So completed command. These are what we've just done, and then it's done a migration, and then it's now doing all the things. So yeah, and at the end we should get the database has been rebuilt. Completed command. Yes. Boom. So now we should be able to just refresh the page, and it should just look exactly as it was. It's one of those tasks that doesn't actually do anything like different. It's just made things a little bit more efficient. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to just quickly run this as well. So the db test load as well. So we have to do this from outside the container, which is here. So we do make db test. What was that? Test load. So that should just run the rebuild thing. So let's just run that to make sure that it's happy. It looks like it should be okay. So test load. Yeah, it's doing exactly the same thing. Marvelous. So I'm pretty happy with this, I think. It's been quite a productive stream, I believe. Yeah, okay, so what have we done, right? Git status, what have we done? We have created a rebuild command. We've adjusted the makefile. We've adjusted the entry points for both test and dev. And yeah, I think that kind of covers it. Let's do a git add of the make. Well, let's do a git commit -m. Actually, thinking of it, looking at the time, I need to shoot off, unfortunately, but I will commit this later on. But yeah, I think this is great. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I appreciate it, and I hope those answers that I gave to you, Calcan, sorry, helped. And I will post Network Chuck's YouTube channel to the Discord server, Martin. Yeah, thank you very much. Happy coding, everybody, and I will speak to you again soon. Take care. Cheers. Bye-bye.